Hello everybody and welcome to the video and live streaming show. My name's John Lacey and as always I'm joined by Sam Proof. Today on the show we're going to be looking at the free Mix It Up chatbot and all the magical things we can do with that. And I must admit, I was reflecting on this a little bit earlier in the day, Sam, and this was a topic that was kind of on our topics list for like, I don't know, a solid year before we got around to talking about it. And I've got to be honest, I didn't really get the whole point of the chatbot thing because I saw the things that you were doing on Twitch with the games and the channel points and stuff. And I thought that's really interesting, but I just don't know how it actually relates to the kind of stuff that I do. But then we did do a show on that and it was kind of amazing, and I've become so excited by all of the things. So we'll check in with the chat in just a second, but we are going out live to all the various places. So if you do want to do that thing, hashtag Team Live, I would love you for it. And if you're watching later on, you can do hashtag Team Replay. Hello to Saeed, who's watching from Germany. I believe he's doing a bit of video editing in the background, so that'll be really, really cool. And hello to Reluctant Creators. Thanks for your company today. So, Sam, how are things been going? Have you been up to anything exciting during the week?
Yeah, I mean, it's been, Thanksgiving out here, so it's been a very busy week for us family-wise. Amanda's school always does a Vittles dinner the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Then Thanksgiving, we actually have like more of just a small family thing since we're not really going anywhere for a big meal. So we ended up doing like a charcuterie board and like played board games and stuff like that. And just, going around doing stuff. We just saw Moana 2, which was good. Nice. I don't know if it's better than the first one, but it's good. So yeah, it's been a busy week.
Cool. Yes, and I should say happy Thanksgiving to any Americans or any other people that celebrate that this week. I hope you had a good one. I know some people have been treating themselves to various things in the holiday sales, and I hope that's working out well for you too. Just don't get too carried away and purchase all of the things. Try to be thoughtful with your purchases, but otherwise I hope you're doing well. But let's get stuck into today's topic. Although I do have a question actually for Saeed. Can you tell me where you're chatting from? Because I just have a weird feeling I'm having an issue with something in the back end, so I'd really love to know that. But let's get into Mix It Up. So what actually is Mix It Up? Who is it for? Yeah. Why should they care? What are some of the things that they can do with this software?
Sure. Yeah, Mix It Up is, again, a free chatbot. So it runs on PC only currently. They are working on a cloud version, but it is a chatbot. So it does things like automation, moderation, and creates things like chat commands. So you can have a frequently asked question that just automatically gets replied to by your chatbot, so you don't have to worry about it. Or if you have a problem with, trolls or people crossing the line on your stream, if there's certain words you don't want, you can make like a blackout list and be like, yep, the minute you say that, you're either muted or, it's deleted or you're banned, things like that. You can do fun things like crazy overlays. I do like an emote wall on my stream where like just emotes fly across and stuff whenever they happen in the chat. They go over here. You can do like GIFs that pop up on stream. And really, if you can think it, you can do it. It integrates to dozens of other services and softwares, including OBS. So anything you can do on a Stream Deck, you can also do on Mix It Up. And there are times that, you want to integrate those together so that you can pop a command from the Stream Deck to Mix It Up for various reasons. It also, similar to the Stream Deck, will let you do multiple things per command. It's pretty endless in its capacity.
I guess there's one sort of thing that I think most people out there need to know, and that is simply that at the moment this is Windows-based software. And I know they are working on a cloud-based version that you should be able to run from any browser. But at the moment, this is Windows-only software. And I guess the other thing too is, it supports YouTube, Twitch, and what's the other one that I've already forgotten, Sam? That magical platform. Trovo,
Yeah,
which
Trovo.
I don't even know what Trovo is, but Sam will probably explain that to us in a second.
Yeah, Trovo is basically a Twitch clone. It's gamers mostly.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna sort of do a couple of things simultaneously. I'm just gonna share my screen for a second, and I am gonna say hello to a few people, but I'm also going to sort of articulate what I'm seeing in my Mix It Up chat. So first of all, and I'm gonna do this a little bit from on two different screens. So hello to Erica Bates from Talk Virtual who's joining us. Great to have your company today. Saeed actually was watching on LinkedIn, which confused the hell out of me because normally he watches on YouTube, and and I'll show you in a second that these chat commands behind me are actually from YouTube or they're coming from the Restream bot. And also hello to Chantel Hills, who says good morning because it's morning here in Australia. But again, I know this is kind of a little bit small behind me, but you'll see, and Chocolate Quilts. Again, I'm sorry I missed you earlier in the chat on that side, but I can see you quite clearly over here. So the great thing about this is not only is it sort of showing me the chats that's happening in YouTube, and again, for my purposes, I'm really just using this on YouTube. I could also set up something for the Twitch account. I barely touch Twitch. I think I am going live there today, but I barely use it. But essentially, even this, like this will keep a record of, you know, who's actually chatting, and I can go historically. So if I go to Seed, for example, and I right click, I can go to user info. So this will tell me, like, you know, this is Saeed. He's a YouTube subscriber. He's been there for, his account has been around on YouTube for 2 years, 2 months, and 21 days. And he's watched about 22 hours and 28 minutes of my content. I'm assuming that's what that means, Sam, but maybe you can clarify that in a second.
Yeah, that is watch time, yes.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So, you know, follow age. So he's been following me for 10 months and 16 days. And it could potentially be longer. This is, in some ways, this is a reflection. Oh, actually, that stat might come from YouTube. I'm not really sure. It could be part Mix It Up. It could be part YouTube. But I have all these amazing things that I can do. So I kind of have a history of my YouTube participation in here, which in and of itself is kind of amazing. So I might talk briefly about some of the more basic features that I've been using. And again, I can demonstrate some of these live in the chat. So if I've got a guests command, so I'm going to put that into the chat. And again, I might just screen share this again. So I can go !guests. This does take, I think, about 60 seconds to pop in. So it actually says here, and I will bring this up where you guys can see it a little bit more clearly, use commands to learn more about other guests. And there's ! Commands for Michelle J. Raymond, Garen Belaney, Garen Parkins, Saeed Sadouk, and Tanya Smith. So if you were to, and this kind of only works if you're watching on my YouTube channel, but essentially if I go ! Saeed Sadouk, again, I've kind of set up a little bit of a delay so people don't get too carried away with this, but essentially in a few seconds, it'll pop up with a message. And again, I'll bring this up over here so you can see it more clearly, the facilitator, and there's a link to Saeed's YouTube channel, which he's building. He's working towards his 333 subscribers. So that's exciting. So I've got that. And if I go into my chat commands, and this is basically all I'm using this as a newbie, but essentially I can go into, my commands. And I've got my guest commands as their own category. There were a few extra ones actually there for different things that Tanya Smith was promoting at the time. But essentially, I've got these commands. Let's just go to Saeed as an example, seeing as he's always here. So we've got a name for this. I've got a category, which is a command group, and this is just a way of organizing these. These are the commands you can use. So you can actually go ! the facilitator, ! Saeed Sadouk, or because I like a good pun, ! enough said. And then it'll actually put out this chat message, which I can come in here and edit at any time. So that in itself is really, really basic, but I found that incredibly useful. Because it's one thing for us to feature... It's one thing for us to feature, a URL on the screen, but to literally have it pop up in the chat where someone can click on it, it can open a new tab, they can sort of check it out at that moment or even after the stream is finished. The other thing, and again, thank you to to Sam for explaining some of this to me earlier this morning because it confuses the hell out of me. But let me just show you this again. This is actually the timers option. So at the moment, the only one I'm really using is this like and subscribe action. So basically every 15 minutes, this will actually pop up a message to say like and subscribe. And again, if I click that edit button and we go into that chat message, it literally just says, hey, don't forget to like and subscribe. And there's a little emoji there as well. But I could set up different things to happen. So it could be reminding people to subscribe or to go to a link or to join a newsletter or follow me somewhere. There are all those kinds of exciting things. So I've been loving this for that alone, Sam, but you're going to show us some even more elaborate and exciting things today. So maybe, how are we going for time? Well, we might tease this a little bit and then we'll go to the promo and feature this a little bit more extensively. But I think one of the things that you've been really good at, especially on Twitch, is sort of rewarding people for coming back and working with channel points and, just encouraging them to show up and do certain things over and over again. So can you sort of talk to us conceptually about that, I guess?
Sure. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about the two things you talked about really quick, and one of those I can tie that into with the chat commands. The first thing John was talking about, you can actually set those so that just the streamer can activate them, just the streamer and the mods can activate them. Your VIPs, if you're in a platform that denotes that, or actually, I think you can set VIPs and mix it up. I'd have to double check, or just everyone, paid subscribers or just general followers. So you can, have a variety of like who can trigger this chat command. You can set it to platform specific. So only your YouTube side of things, or only your Twitch, or only your Trovo, or just Twitch and YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Right. So there's a lot of controls to it. You can also assign a value to it. So you can say that in order to trigger this command, it is going to cost you 1 loyalty point, whatever you want to call that. In my, in my stream, they're called slices. On Qt Avalanche, they're called pers, short for currency. And all of these commands can be achieved by using one of those things. And you earn those through a variety of ways that you can set up to, have loyalty points. So you can set it up so that it's just like based on the amount of time, which John talked about the watch time earlier. So you can set it up. It's like every 10 minutes they get a loyalty point, or every minute they get a loyalty point. However, you want to do that. You can also do mini games like trivia and other things of that nature. And if they get the question right, they earn loyalty points that way, and so on and so forth. And then you can also create a rank system. So when they have earned a certain amount of loyalty points, or even a second type of point, they, in addition, get a rank, which, unlocks other features. That rank could, in effect, say, when I reach level 10, I'm automatically considered a VIP, or something like that. So yeah, those are really great. They're a lot of fun to use. It keeps people coming back, and they're like, I have a bunch of different events that happen where, the sort of people who are loyal will come and play those little mini games that I have set up to try and unlock more and more points.
Nice. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess we alluded to this a little bit on last week's show that, historically you've done things with like Qt Avalanche, where you've had a Christmas tree and people could have different commands based on those channel points to actually make it do things. And I think even like there were some actions just for the point tilt zoom camera. So like, in your previous location, people could actually sort of change what the camera was physically pointed at. So we're going to come back in just a second and talk about that a little bit more. But this is the video and live streaming show. Thank you so much for being with us today.
We are constantly training our cats every interaction that we have with them. Mm-hmm. So when Johan would get on my counter before, this is 10 years ago, before I was the cat expert that I am now, Johan would jump on the counter. What was the first thing I did? I'd say his name, Johan. Well, he loves that. That's a reward for him. He said, you just said my name. I would go over to him and I'd talk to him and be like, you can't be on the counter. Johan loves when I talk to him. Ding, that's another reward for Johan. I'd pick him up and put him on the ground, but I didn't want him to think I was mad at him. So when I'd pick him up very nicely and kiss him on the head and say, I love you, but you can't be here. I'd put him on the ground. I had just done 3 things that rewarded him for being on the counter. So I was encouraging him to continue doing that.
And that's a promo for Sam's podcast, Just Kidding Around, which you can learn more about over at cuteavalanche.com. And I think what we might do before we get back into the channel points thing is I just want to really touch briefly on a couple of things that actually happen within our show in terms of those promos and the way they actually relate to Mix It Up chat messages. So this is literally my Stream Deck, the extra large. I've got these buttons for our promos. So let's just open up this one, which is Just Getting Around. So this is a multi-action. It really only does 2 things. So if we open this one up, it switches to a different scene in OBS, and then it runs the Mix It Up command. So that Mix It Up command is literally just putting this into my chat on YouTube, Just Kidding Around's podcast, learn more, and it gives you a direct URL. So that's a really sort of basic way that we can incorporate some of this really, really cool stuff. Sam, but talk to us a little bit more about these channel points and how you think we should perhaps start thinking about using those.
For sure. So I do want to make a quick distinction for anyone who does use Twitch, which has something called channel points, which also Mix It Up will use. This is basically for people who don't have channel points and want to create something like channel points. So you can call them whatever you want to call them. And you can do them in addition to Twitch channel points, which I do as well. So yeah, when you're doing these in Mix It Up, it is actually just called currency, rank, and inventory. So they're all basically the same thing with slight differences, whereas currency is a consumable point, rank is a non-consumable point, and then inventory is technically a consumable, thing as well. It's very similar, but you give it a little more flavor. They all can also have a variety of variables that show different things, whereas like rank will give you like a rank level as well as rank points, and you have to set those things up. Currency is really just like a straight flow of like you just have 200,000 of this thing. In addition, like inventory is basically the same, but they're all, kind of flavors on a theme of like just things you've gotten as a viewer, which you can then do to unlock different things or whatever. So yeah, I don't know if you want to go through this whole setup process of this, but basically in Mix It Up, you would just, go on.
I guess what I kind of want to do is take a little bit of a step back because like I said earlier, I kind of get how this would work in Twitch and, the differentiation between the Twitch channel points and the Mix It Up ones is an important one, I guess. I'm kind of wondering, like, as someone who's predominantly using YouTube, like, do you have an example of like maybe a way that I could reward people who regularly turn up and watch this show? Like, can I give Saeed, for example, some magical power that he can use during the show?
Yeah, sure. Of course. Like, anything in Mix It Up command wise can be given a cost value. So you can do things like we've done the chat commands. You can set those chat commands to have a cost, and those don't just have to reply with text in the chat. You can have them pop up a GIF on the screen. You can have them, as John mentioned, our kitten cam had multiple cameras, and you can switch cameras. You can do that. We had an inventory, so not a loyalty point, but an inventory, which was a badge that you got for watching us at certain times. There was a Christmas issue or episode, stream, whatever. And if you watched during that, did a certain chat command to get the badge, you would have this badge for the lifetime. And then you could do these Christmas gifts that would come up on screen for free because you'd already achieved that badge. We also had an LED light in the cat room, and people could use their points to change the colors of the lights. And you could really do a lot more with it. You could do some really complicated things if you actually know a little bit about webhooks, because you can tie those commands into webhooks, which can bring in other services or applications. So you could really do quite a bit.
Okay, cool. I just want to say briefly hello to Walter Strong III from Real Men Rising, saying good evening to us both. So let's, I guess, you know, I'm going to share my screen. Maybe you can talk me through some of how this might work. So, like, I know if we go into the chat commands, like, I guess another thing that maybe I didn't articulate was if we go in and edit these, there are usage requirements, and I think this is kind of what you were alluding to. The first of these is like who can actually sort of use this.
Yeah, so sneakily right now, anyone can do any of John's commands, at least the Saeed one.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
if we want to go in there and select a streaming platform, you might as well leave as all, but go to role, and you could put that to, at the very least, moderator, if not just streamer.
Sure.
Unless you want to give people that ability.
I mean, I kind of do want to give them that ability just so that they can look up the guests at any time. So, I mean, that's the reason I've done it like that. But, I mean, there will be other times when I probably do want to restrict this a little bit. But I guess the other thing too, we have our cooldown period, which, again, I just tend to leave it at 60 seconds. But you go ahead.
Yeah, so the cooldown is great. This kind of prevents overusage. So if somebody uses it and somebody tries to use it right away, it's going to be like, no, I've done it in the past minute. That's what John has it set to. So it'll stay down. It does have a type modification to it, as well as the seconds modification. So the type actually lets you say, this is a just global cooldown, which is the standard, or you can do it per person. So like, you can do it once, I can do it once, Saeed can do it once, but if we try to do it again, it's going to be like, not just yet. Or you can similarly do it by group, which is like any one moderator can do it, any one follower, and so on and so forth. For this kind of thing, I would leave it as standard. So, you know, it only gets done once per minute. So the next thing over is the currency requirement. So you can do a quick small currency cost in addition to reduce, you know, overusage as well. You would have to build out the currency first, so it doesn't show anything for John because we have not created a currency. But then you would just create the required amount. I don't know if you want to go down the list of all the usage.
We might as well.
Yeah, the next one is a rank requirement. So either in addition to your currency or next to, you know, aside from it, you can set a rank requirement, which is what we did for our one Christmas thing. So it would, instead of being a currency, it would be that you had to achieve a certain rank level. And then, you know, you can set it actually for you achieve that rank level, you achieve that or more, or you're under that rank level. So we do actually have a game for Halloween in which the whole game is based on finding treats, giving those treats to trick cat treaters that show up, which for the people who've been around for a while, they've got lots and lots of treats already. So in order to help out the new people, I created a sort of give and take chat command, which lets the new people be like, hey, I don't have any treats. And then other people can reply and give them treats, and it's all automated that way. But they can only do it if they're under a certain rank. So if somebody who already has, you know, the wherewithal to have gotten hundreds of treats tries to do it, that doesn't happen. And then in addition, we reward both sides for playing along and give them points as well.
Nice. I guess, like, I'll just mention these briefly. So we do have arguments, so you can actually pass different pieces of information to any of these commands. I think the one that I'm kind of interested in exploring is actually, tagging specific people in chat messages. And again, I'm not entirely sure how that works on YouTube, so we might need to explore that a little bit. There's a user threshold as well. I don't know what that is. Can you tell me what that is?
Let me take a look. I have to see it to think.
I mean, I
about
can
it.
share the screen again if it helps.
Yeah,
but,
sure. Go ahead.
So we've got this one here. So required users, time span, run for each user.
Yeah. So similar in a way to the cooldown, this would be, it takes X amount of people to trigger this command. So I have a mini game, which is essentially trying to summon a large fish to the chat, because cats, and a minimum of 5 people have to do it. So if I do that as 5 people have to type the command, and then it will prompt. Otherwise, it will like fade away within a certain amount of time. So yeah, that's kind of a fun but more advanced thing.
Awesome. And I guess just briefly, there is also a settings cog at the end of those settings, which has show on chat list context menu. So if you want to let your audience know what those commands are, you can choose that. There's also a delete chat message when run option, which is interesting. I'm not entirely sure how that would work, but it's intriguing.
So in John's case, he has the ! Enough said command. So you would type enough said, ! Enough said into the chat. And in this particular instance, it would delete that and replace it with the text of Saeed's URL and information.
Oh, that's fun.
So it just gets rid of the chat command. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I guess, like, and again, I feel like we're picking on Saeed, but like he's our number one fan. Like we wouldn't have a show without him. So I kind of what I want to do, and I don't think I can do it necessarily live on today's show, but I'll explain this, and maybe you can start thinking about how it might work. But I would love to give Saeed the ability to run a chat message, chat command that actually flashes something on our screen once an hour. So when he shows up, he personally, as a single user, can do that. So we might go to a promo. We'll come back and we'll talk about some of these other options. And I know there may be some newbies and some beginners in the chat, and I just want to say, like, don't be too scared of this. It may not be the kind of thing that you want to run off and implement straight away, but and Chantel's saying poor Saeed, and it's like, no, we like Saeed. Truthfully, we do.
Yeah, we like
he's
Saeed.
The best.
Again, Mix It Up is a real powerhouse. For the average streamer, you're just going to basically do the kind of things John has already done, but we're talking about some of the more advanced fun things that it can do once you've gotten past that, and you're like, well, let's see what's under the hood.
Absolutely. All right, so we're going to go. We'll come back and talk about this a little bit more in just a moment, but thank you so much for being here today. This is the Video and Live Streaming Show.
Hi, I'm John Lacey, and in Build a Presentation Muscle, I want to talk about finding your voice, refining and sharing your message, using tools and technology to share that message, and looking after yourself as a creator.
And that's a promo for my podcast, Build a Presentation Muscle, the podcast all about showcasing your expertise through content creation, which you can learn more about over at johnlacey.com. So this is the video and live streaming show. Saeed is laughing and making sure that we limit it to once an hour. So I'm thinking it has to feature an alpaca. It might just be a promo to his YouTube channel, because I know he's really trying to build that. But I guess, this isn't even on our agenda, but it just occurred to me now, can we do we have the ability to sort of welcome and thank new subscribers if they, okay, talk to me about that, because I think that would be amazing.
All right. So yeah, what you're talking about is considered an event. So anything that happens on the platform side, these are events. They are actually more than just the platform side. Other things can have events if you link those services to Mix It Up, like your Patreon, Tiltify. They again have a couple dozen services that they work with, but donations, any kind of money thing, these are considered events. So if you go into Mix It Up and you go to the events page, and then in this case, you would select YouTube.
So if I go here and I go to events, and I've got my options, and I was looking at YouTube ones just a moment ago. So
I think for what you're talking about, it's actually just going to be generic.
Okay.
Let me take a look on my side really quick. Okay.
So there is a channel subscribed option in the generic options. So yeah, I mean that would be good, because I guess that's, and sorry to cut you off, Sam, but I guess like we have Twitch, we have YouTube, we have Trovo. In some ways, if it makes sense to have the same command for all three, we probably do want to hang out in this generic area.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is there's a lot of things that you can specify to platform, but also there is a more global version of those things. So yeah, if you want to create some kind of automated response to new subscribers, you would just go into that generic events thing, look for channel subscribed, you would add command, and then you just build it out in there, whether it's a, in chat response or an overlay that happens on the screen, or both, or, even more. Like in mine, I do like an in-chat response that's like whatever their username is has subscribed to my name, and then yay to them. And then there is a light reaction. So the lights behind me would blink red, and they are then rewarded with points from my loyalty system as well.
Nice. Okay, this might bore everybody, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to go full screen. Let's actually add something here. So again, I'm going to go generic. I'm going to go to channel subscribed. I'm going to click this add command. So let's actually build it out. So in any of these commands, we've got different actions. So this could be a whole bunch of different things. I think for our purposes today, I'm just going to go with chat message. I'm going to click the add button here just to bring up my options. So I can send this as, and I guess this is another thing I may not have articulated, is that I can send this as me, which in this context is probably learn live streaming on YouTube. But I have actually set up John's chat support, which is its own YouTube entity. So generally speaking, I let it do the chatbot stuff so it knows that it's automated. But in this case, I might actually want to do this as myself. And I kind of want to go, hi, and let's check out our special identifiers reference, which is a web page.
Yeah, so this is great. Special identifiers are basically variables, though they refuse to call them variables for I don't know what reason, because they're developers from Microsoft. But it gives you those sort of dynamic controls. So John is going to go in, look for this user section, and then he's going to find the one that says username. User ID is usually like a digit that all of the platforms have. So you may be, your user ID is whatever your YouTube channel ID is, which is just a string of randomness. But the username is going to be Sam Proof or Saeed or John Lacey,
cool.
or Learn Live Streaming.
So if I literally just copy that in and can I, if I put a full stop here, do you think that will be a problem?
No, that should be fine.
Okay. Thank you so much for subscribing. And I don't know, let's have a little party option there. The emoji looks a little bit weird here, but that's fine. So we've got that
it'll
there.
Look normal on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and emojis are very specific to each platform, so it'll look one way in Mix It Up, it'll look another way on YouTube, another way on Twitch. But it will all be the same.
Awesome. So I'm literally just going to save this, and I don't know, I'm probably not fortunate enough to have someone in the chat that actually isn't already subscribed, but if you are
already subscribed,
please try that. Please try that for me, and I'd be really interested to see if that's going to work for us. I kind of wish I had and I probably do have other accounts, but we won't worry too much about that. But I mean, the great thing about that, and like I've only done a chat message there, but we could also have things pop up on OBS. We could do all kinds of weird, wonderful stuff. So, yeah. So I don't know. Where do you want to take this conversation now, Sam? I'll let you steer the boat.
Yeah. So the other thing is, you could also create random responses. It does not have to just be that one blanket thank you for subscribing. If you really want to get into things, you can make like a conditional, and then you create a variable or special identifier that creates a random number, and then you have a list of random things, which technically you can do a multitude of other ways as well. But you wanted to know if we could give Saeed his own command.
Yes.
So if you go into, again, you can do this 3 ways. but I'm gonna show you the very specific way, and then a slightly more generic way. If you go into Mix It Up, into the navigation, and look for the users page,
Okay, cool.
you can actually bring up, similar to what you showed earlier, that had user information. You can bring up a sort of more in-depth page on just Saeed.
This is amazing. I don't know that I've even played in here. So, but Learn Live Streaming, Saeed is in here. So I've got my actions. I can go in and edit these in.
Yep.
So again, I guess the currency, the rank, the consumables, the inventory, these are all the things that you've described previously. But I can see I've got user-only chat commands. So let's do this. So what will we call this one? I'm going to call it Alpaca because I know that he has. And actually, no. What should this be, Saeed? Let me know. So I guess what I want to do is eventually, and I might need to actually go and design something in some graphic software to do this properly. But I'm just going to call it. I don't know. I'm just going to call it Saeed Alpaca, if I can type. And again, I'll figure this out, and we'll do this properly at another point. But essentially, if I go into my user option, I probably don't need to change it because we're adding this at a user level. Would that be right, Sam?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
You're going to set,
cool.
I mean, all you want to do is set the cooldown to 60 minutes. So 360 seconds. Is that the math?
Yeah. So I guess what I want to do is make sure, so this is the cool out period. So, and I'm going to try and do math in real time. So I'm going to use a calculator. So 60 seconds times 60 minutes is 3,600, which I'm pretty sure is what Sam said.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So we got that there. What I kind of, and I'm not going to worry about anything else here, but what I kind of want to do, and again, I don't know, I might actually, in this is where I need to sort of lean on Sam's expertise, but I would love it to actually trigger something in OBS. And I don't know, like, do I need to work with WebSockets, or is that something I can sort of do natively here?
Yeah, no, we can do that with just a browser overlay, much like what we did with Social Stream or any of those other things.
All right.
So I would just have it do a chat command for right now, and then we can come back into it, just so you can save it and come back to it. And then we will set up a browser source.
All right.
So an overlay,
so
which
I'm just
while John's doing that, if you don't know, a browser source overlay is just like a transparent layer that you're putting into your streaming software, OBS, Ecamm, any of those things. That is actually a desktop software. I don't know any cloud-based ones that currently allow for that yet. And then when you trigger an event, that it will send whatever signal to that browser source, and you'll see it on screen. All right, ready?
And actually, before you do that, Sam, I just want to share something that I've just noticed and I'm really excited about in real time. In this same user editor, we have custom entrance commands. So I could set things up to actually welcome each of my returning people with their own unique commands or series of commands or chat message or, a chat overlay, like all of the things. Like I can do that. And there's also Patreon options. I don't use Patreon, but if you do, that might be something you want to check out.
Yeah, so we did a special chat entrance for my moderator, Means. So when she shows up, a little cat lady covered in cats shows up on screen, and it says in the chat, mess with the beans, get the means. And the illustration, thanks to Insomnia Doodles for doing that. But yeah, that shows up for only her.
Nice. Okay, so I guess you've mentioned a browser source. Can I, is there any scope to maybe just toggle the visibility of a source, another kind of source in OBS via Mix It Up, or is that just a little bit outside of the scope?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Mix It Up can control your scenes, your sources. You can have it. I'm pretty sure I could have it do any of the move transition stuff. Like we could tie it to pretty much anything that you can trigger by a hotkey. You can trigger by Mix It Up. That kind of stuff does require the WebSocket connection. So I don't know if we can do that live.
All right, sure.
I don't know that I would want to try and risk that.
No.
Setting up a browser source, way
Okay.
easier. We would just go into, again, our navigation and go over to like halfway down to overlay widgets.
Okay, brilliant.
And
Okay,
you
so I'm
probably
getting
don't
this
wanna
message that says
grab
the
some-
overlay must
Oh.
be enabled in the services menu. So let me just check out the
Okay.
services.
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Go to services.
All
and
right.
it's just,
And the overlay option is this one up here, I believe. Okay, so this is a local URL, so it won't matter that everyone can see it on the screen. So that's great.
Right, yeah.
So I'm just going to add this to OBS. I hope this isn't too messy, but let's just roll with it. It's all just educational stuff. Mix it up.
Yeah.
Creating a new browser source. Going to paste that one in. It didn't actually copy anything. Let me try that again. Still doesn't. Can I copy it? Do I need to connect it first? Okay, there we go.
Jeez,
Now
it's
if
been
I
so
copy
long
it-
since I've done that part.
Okay, yes, so let me copy it then. So I'm going to change this
Okay.
to 1920 by 1080. I don't know what this is going to look like, but we'll find out in a second together. Okay, so it is actually
Yeah.
transparent at this point in time. So
Yeah.
that's cool. I'm going to go back to our overlay option now that we've got this organized. Overlay widgets. I'll just make myself full screen so you can see more of this. So we can add an overlay widget. We can import an overlay widget. I don't have anything to import, so I'm going to go and add. Select the type of overlay widget you wish to create. That is
Right.
really
So,
weird.
yeah, that was weird. So yeah, you have a variety of overlays. You're probably,
Text might
I don't
be
know,
good
going to
for
want
our
to just do
purposes.
text for now
Yep.
because it'll be easiest. Yeah.
Okay.
But you could do a GIF or an image or a video triggers or goal bars, like a
Mhm.
progress bar for like, I'm trying to get 200 subscribers. What up? You know?
Yep.
Or it could be tied to your Patreon, your Tiltify, anything like that. But yes, text will be the easiest in this situation.
Oops,
So
say
just do
get
that.
to 333 subscribers. youtube.com/@the-facilitator. All right, so I can't, like, it's giving me font options, which in and of itself is kind of interesting. I'm just gonna go for Open Sans something or other. We'll see what this looks like in a second. It's even a shadow color, which could potentially be fun. And I might even, can I make that just white maybe? All right, max width. So we do have some formatting options. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna save this.
Yeah.
And okay, it's actually showing on OBS what this will look like. So to me that's probably
Yes.
not big enough. So I'm gonna go in and make that, I don't know, 66. There we go. It's probably a little bit too big. Can I split this on 2 lines maybe? Shift enter. Will that do anything? No.
I
Yeah, it doesn't look
think
like
you'd
it.
have to get into the You could do it in HTML
Yeah.
or something at that
Okay,
point,
awesome. So yeah, I mean, I could potentially just do it in here because I am. So, like, in fact, let me go back to the details. Can I just cut that out of here? I could
Yeah,
just put a
pretty
break
much.
rule in there or something. Let's try that.
That should do it.
And I save that like that. Missing text. So
Yeah,
I need some
a
sort of
blank-
text.
Just do space. Just put
Okay.
a space in there. That should do
All
it.
right.
Yeah.
I'm not actually seeing that now, so I'm not sure.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. So again, like, this is probably not the most elegant option here, but so if I toggle this off here and I go back to my users and maybe enable that for him and he can try it just the once, seeing as I've set it up for only once an hour. So we go back into Saeed, we find his commands, which is Saeed Alpaca, and I'm really hoping I spelled that right, but essentially I'm going to get rid of this chat message and let's see if we can add our overlay. I'm assuming it's going to be, there we go.
Overlay. Yep.
That one there, go plus.
Oh yeah, we could have actually just built.
Oh,
the
we could have just
entire
added it
overlay
here.
in
Okay,
here.
cool.
Yeah.
So-
So the if you go into this, into the where it has text right now,
Yeah.
click on that. No, the field above that says text as the drop down. I believe it is enable disable widget is what you would want at that point.
All right.
And then you can find the widget that you created. Text, hit enable. You want to duplicate that one so that you can then disable it.
Okay.
Because you'll just give it a timer and
okay.
Stuff. So at the in the blue in the icons, the one next to the question mark, but after the arrows, the fourth one in.
To duplicate it. Yeah.
Go to the left. That'll duplicate it. So then we want to turn that to disable.
And
then in our at the bottom, we're going to add a new and it's either called wait or pause or wait.
There we go.
Hit a plus and
amount
we'll give
in
that
seconds. So let's say
3 seconds.
3 seconds. All right, cool. And I probably need to change the order of those. So that's in between.
Yep, exactly.
All right, we'll save that. So now, Saeed, your command is, and I'm hoping you're watching on YouTube now because this won't work on LinkedIn. But if you go !Saeed alpaca, and again, I'm hoping I spelled that correctly. Let's see if that does a thing.
Yeah, we'll give him time to do that.
This is so suspenseful. But anyway, I'll stop sharing the screen for a second, and we'll go back to side by side. You got to put an exclamation mark in front of that one, Saeed. Close.
Yeah, so you can actually get rid of the exclamation mark, but you have to set that inside of.
There we go.
There it is. Look at that.
There it is. He did it. So he put it in the chat, and we can see it on the screen. Again,
and try 3
seconds
again.
Is nothing in the scheme of things. That was so quick.
Yeah, it's pretty quick.
But there we go. We can give people individual, and I love the idea of rewarding the people that show up consistently. So let me check in with the chat because I've been a little bit distracted by things. Hello to Ernesto. We're saying YouTube, so I'm assuming that's where he's watching from, which would make sense. Hello to anybody else that might have joined us there. I think Erica was suggesting we have a llama command, which is pretty cool. So Saeed actually did this a second time, and the chat support is telling him that he has to wait another 59 minutes because I set that up in such a way that he can only trigger it once an hour. So that in itself is really interesting. So we have all kinds of really cool options. And I maybe, and this might be a topic for a future show, but maybe it would be, and I've never really done anything in OBS with WebSockets, but a part of me, because last week I sort of showed that Santa animation with sounds on the show that was just a free thing in the Elgato store, and I would love just to have something that, if there's a command or a set of conditions that maybe that flashes up on the screen. I'd probably only use it on one stream a year, but I just love the idea of it. I think that would be really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and all of that is super easy. Like it's, similar to what we just did with the text, you would just be doing an image. So you'd either have it locally hosted or you would reference an image that was stored on the internet. You just pull that URL. So either way, depending on where you're pulling it from, because some places have blocks to that, but for the most part, it's super simple.
I love it. And again, I know Sam and I can get pretty nerdy at times. And again, if you haven't experienced some of the things that Sam does on Twitch, they are genuinely mind-boggling. And I might even just see if I can pull up that the site on the page on your website cuteavalanche.com about the Christmas thing, because I think that was a really good illustration, and I don't think
of how complicated we can get things.
Yeah. So I mean, it doesn't need to be that complicated, but I just think there's something you can see in terms of the possibilities, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I'm just loading this in the background. So let me share my screen. So this was the Cute Avalanche Catmus interactive experience. And the great thing about this, and again, it was on Twitch and YouTube, but we actually had all these overlays. We actually had some information. You've obviously got a point system here with 500 bits equals an ornament, which is really, really cool.
Yeah, so on the screen, you see, there's about 5 or 6 designs of ornaments that decorate the frame and the tree. And as people drop 500 bits, Mix It Up takes their user avatar from either Twitch or YouTube, wherever they did it, and replaces that ornament with a round version of their avatar, which avatars are stored as squares. So Mix It Up is using JavaScript to then turn it into a circle.
Wow. Yeah, so and obviously you've got this this currency system which is really interesting, the different commands, the chats and stuff, like the stream stickers, like it's all happening. It's very, very exciting.
Yeah, and you can change the color of the Christmas tree lights, the tinsel, and whatever's on the tree topper, and that is again controlled by Mix It Up, but linked to Twitch's built-in channel point system.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if I have enough time, I'm going to figure out a way to make that tied into something else so our YouTubers can do it. These are some of the toppers are cats that either are our house cats or the designer's illustrator's cat Dova, which again,
Nice.
you can do through the channel point system. And there's a variety of other tree toppers, like a hat, a bell, a Santa hat, and things like that. The emotes are just emotes, so those are platform specific, but they do show up on screen as part of the emote wall, which I talked about earlier. So anytime you do an emote, it'll fly across the screen. I have it set up so its sort of trajectory is random. It might shoot across, it might float, it might sort of zoom out. It has a bunch of presets, and I just kind of let it go with whatever it wants. But you can make deliberate choices as well. You can also add JavaScript to those things to do more interesting effects. You can do CSS, you can do JavaScript. So if you're familiar with any of those things, you can really make your overlays do some fun stuff. We just did our Halloween thing, and I updated some of our older overlays with some JavaScript and CSS interactions. So instead of just kind of coming up on screen, the like ghost will float and kind of hover and wobble, and UFO zooms out, and a lot of fun stuff.
Nice. One thing that was actually on our list, Emotewalls, and that is something that I know some of us have been using Ninja Chat for, but I understand there's some capability for that in Mix It Up as well.
Yeah, so if we go back into our overlays, there is just a dedicated overlay type, which is for emotes. And let me see. Oh, geez, I don't even see it right now. It's a persistent emote effect.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Yep.
So you would add command, you would find persistent emote effect, and then it'll literally just give you drop-down options. So it's defaults to rain, and there's probably a bunch of different ones in here. You can just set it to random or pick whichever one you want.
Random sounds fun.
Random's fine. And then you set the duration of how long it is on screen. You set how big that emote should be. Emotes are squares, so it's pretty easy to do the math on that generally. And then you could, increase the amount of emotes that somebody does. So if they do like one smiley face, instead 3 show up. I do 1 for 1. I don't remember what combo count or combo time frame does exactly. And allow emoji, I would tick that. I think that is just for like the difference between emotes and emoji, I think, is platform specific emotes. Whereas I, as a partner, have uploaded specific ones to my YouTube channel, then you can use those. The last option there is ignore duplicates. So if somebody writes 50 emotes of the same smiley face, it's only going to show 1. That is personal choice, whether you want to allow or unallow duplicates.
Okay, cool. So I've made that live. So if you're watching on the Learn Live Streaming YouTube channel, please put some emoji in there. I might even just go back to my chat screen so I can add some things in here as well. Just going to grab some random things from my recent emojis, and we'll throw those in and see what it looks like.
Did we set up a browser? Oh yeah, I guess we did set up a browser
first aid
source
stuff.
in your.
So I'm assuming it'll use the same one. Oh, there we go. That's crazy.
There we go. Those are working.
PGZcast, which is one of your accounts, Sam, it actually,
it is.
it's interesting because it
I
put
used
a
the
whole bunch
YouTube
of
ones.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So those were YouTube specific. I wanted to see what would happen, but if I do just a bunch of different regular ones, they should all show up.
All right, awesome. So yeah, I mean, you can certainly do that.
There we go.
That could be quite fun, and like I guess as much as we love Ninja Chat, it does give you some different animation options for how those are displayed on screen. So that potentially could be a lot of fun.
And again, with something like Ninja Chat is pretty simplistic, I think, but with Mix It Up, you could. First off, you can add CSS and JavaScript to these to be even more complex, but you can also do it so that, I think you can do it. Now that I've said it, I'm not sure that it has a different response to people with higher rank values, but I actually think I need to look into this now to see that. But
Nice.
Potentially, maybe.
I think Saeed used the YouTube ones as well, so I think you kind of need to use the system-specific ones rather than the platform-specific ones, if you know what I mean. Because just for the benefit of people watching at home, this is kind of what this looks like in the chat. Is like colon face dash red dash droopy eyes.
But that's Restream doing that.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So maybe
on YouTube it should look
okay.
fine. Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. Okay, so so Said's done some more emojis. We'll just see what they pop up like. Any moment now. There they are. Awesome. See, I actually love how they're animating. And again, maybe I don't know, maybe we have the ability to restrict that, but again, at the end of the day, I can always just toggle off the browser source if I want to sort of end that for the moment, which I think we will. I feel like in some ways we've barely scratched the surface of this, but it's kind of been amazing.
Barely.
We'll definitely do another show on this in the future because I do want to. I really want to kind of reward the people who show up constantly because I know you could be anywhere doing anything, and I love that you're showing up here. But as we are wrapping up, Sam, where can people go to find more about you and watch your content and all of the things?
Yeah, head over to samproof.tv and you can find all my social links at the top left there. And if I get my stuff together this week, I will put out a blog for the people who are interested in Mix It Up that has a JavaScript overlay that will launch fireworks into your stream as a chat command. And it's pretty awesome. It uses all particles. And if you did not get enough cats today, you can head over to cuteavalanche.com. And we should be launching our Christmas frame by tomorrow. So you can see how that works as well.
Nice. And if you want to catch up with anything I'm doing, you can head over to johnlacey.com. Got the podcast, a whole bunch of articles. And there are social links on the bottom of those pages. I feel a little bit mean because I turned off the emoji wall and then the alpaca / llamas into the chat. But don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you happen to be watching this. We will be back again the same time next week. I don't know what the topic's going to be just yet, but definitely check that out. I am doing another stream roughly the same time tomorrow where I'm going to think and dream and plan about 2025. So if you want to hang out with me, certainly head over to the Learn a Live Streaming channel on YouTube or the various places. But have a great week. Have a great weekend when you get there. And we will talk to you again very, very soon.